Week 4 of Truth Telling Time Tuesdays. Rampik here. This is week 4 of a 4-part series. So if you didn't catch the other 3, check them out. Okay. We are here. If anything I share with you, you get any ahas, insights, appreciations, put them in the comments. If you have any questions for me, put them in the comments, DM me. If you want to be part of my 5-day challenge, Alive and Sexy in Your Own Skin, to create happiness and confidence now, I'm going to teach you how to do that with 5 days. It's going to be so fun. Oh my God. I love my work. I love what I get to do. And I love to help women work on the subconscious level from within. They've been so busy working on the outside, which you know, right? Because week 1, we talked about hunger. Week 2, we talked about expectations. Last week, I went into my story about my immaturity, okay? And again, I show up, I work on these for a week. But what happens then is the compound effect. So week 4 is all about dishonor, the shadow of dishonor. Okay, so my 1-page playbook for February consisted of working with the ancestors, anyone that's gone before us, okay? And in the sense that a lot of women, because I also worked on delegating and accountability. And those two things for women really do stem back to the ancestors. And the ancestors are saying, please stop using us as an excuse for you to be do-it-allers. Times have changed. In order for you to be the super abundance, you got to delegate. And now for me, delegating is something I've worked on since 2017. And I'm just like, oh my God, layer after layer after layer. And now I'm to the point where I comprehend I got to work on specifically my nervous system when it comes to delegating. And because, being a perfectionist and being, my way or no way or things like that, gave me a lot of anxiety when things were not occurring the way I want it. Like stupid shit. And I hear women say this, and I had to do some cognitive work about this, so I don't take any of this lightly. Please listen. Like I've worked with women who we work on not making the bed every day. Okay, because it gives us anxiety. And most people are like, oh my God, wake up in the morning, your day, make your bed. Is like how you're going to achieve in life if your bed is made. Okay, that's what I was told. I just love a made bed, okay? And I've always made my bed since I was 8. But it's what it turned into. And I remember the day I was dealing with so much on my plate at this point because I was doing everything myself. I was nursing. I had a toddler, and I was literally the contractor for my house, building my house. I had to pay all the bills. I had to find all the people. I had to do that. I mean, not all the people, but I was the one that had to deal with a majority of the people. We did hire a contractor at like lowball. So he did lowball stuff. But I also painted my whole house. I did the trim in my house. My husband did the plumbing. Again, my youngest was in his car seat and my other kid was running around with a hammer. He was 2. And I'm still nursing and I'm doing all that stuff. And so I remember when my son had asked me during that time, I lived at my mom and dad's, he's like, Mom, why didn't you make the bed? I was like, oh shit, this is not happening. I'm not passing this down. I'm not passing this down. So when I went to a therapist or a psychologist, or I don't even remember what it was, to do cognitive work, that was the first thing I did, is I couldn't make my bed until it didn't give me anxiety anymore. And so where this is coming from is due to us thinking we are honoring our heritage. We're honoring our grandmas. We're honoring our mothers, and depending on, you know, like where you fall in the line of time, it's actually dishonoring yourself to be basing your behaviors on whether you're honoring them or dishonoring them. And I see this in the farm community. It's pretty apparent in the farm community. And so what is the opposite of dishonor? Opposite of dishonor is grace. And how we get there is through graciousness. Graciousness. So if I was able to give myself a little bit of grace during that time, I probably wouldn't have had panic attacks. I was painting my house at 3 a.m. and cops sitting outside wondering who's in this house that's being built. The owner? What the hell? You think I have any other time to paint my house by myself without my kids? Oh my God. We definitely pulled all-nighters, and sometimes I have a picture. Oh my God, let's see if I can. That's the picture. I don't have very many pictures around, but I have this picture. And this is us on our daily Home Depot or Menards shopping. Just to remember, I made it through that. Okay. So if I could have given myself some more graciousness instead of thinking that I had to do it all, things would have been totally less damaging to myself. And what it looks like is how it's so easy for us to break our word to ourselves. And like, oh, you promise yourself you're gonna do this, you commit to this to do for yourself, and then super easy you know, don't do it. But you also are storing pain, failure, all of the BS stories that will go in your subconscious. So it's really doing a lot of damage for you, instead of being like, okay, maybe I set myself up for something that was impossible for me to do. I'm going to give myself grace. And now this type of grace, though, is not to be taken lightly. This type of grace is in the sense of the divine graciousness, the divine grace. And that can be a lot of work if you are a human doing human things in this material world, and you're thinking that there is a God outside of yourself that you have to serve or something, instead of knowing, ooh, God, I hate that when I start to see stuff. I better hurry up. Knowing that the grace needs to come from within. The graciousness needs to come from within, and it needs to look like a divine grace. And so when it comes to dishonor, when it comes to the specific gene keys, this goes along with the 55th gene key, because this is about heart. This is about expanding the heart. And in order for us to reawaken and evolve the solar plexus, we gotta work on the heart. So when it comes to the shadow of dishonor, I just created just a few little notes here. There are 6 core wounds of humanity. Gene Key 22 is long. It's very, very long. And so those 6 core wounds of humanity are repression, denial, shame, rejection, guilt, and separation. Dang. I'm like thinking about how I've moved through some, and how when we work on the compound effect, how, dang man, rejection, my fear of rejection equaled my immaturity. Now I get to bring that into this week, and this week is about dishonor. And oh my God, one of the 6 core wounds of humanity is rejection. So instead of me being like, why can't you just deal with rejection? I'm going to give myself grace. For one, I have Suckment helping me out. And that's the thing. I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with energies that I know that are from within me. They're in my specific genetic makeup, my DNA, because I'm a human. We're all the same. And so the 6 patterns are laid down in a unique sequence in your DNA. Once you have access to your own sequence, you will finally understand the basic script of your life process, particularly as regards to your relationships, and where your karma is mostly played out. And karma is an illusion too. But at the same time, it can be very, very beneficial to understand karma, okay? I'm not going to get into too much of that, but that's the biggest thing is when you start to expand, when you start to upgrade, the only way things are going to make sense is if they don't make sense. My phone is gonna die. Okay, so it's a paradox. Paradoxes, when you comprehend a paradox, then you are on the next level. Okay, because it's not something your mind can figure out. It's like, oh, now that makes sense. I get that. Okay, there's no such thing as karma, yet I'm supposed to use karma to heal. Interesting. But you can see where these wounds wounds show up specifically in your relationships. And so this is why it's so important to focus on your way and continually going inside. This week for me really was stepping up, moving past a lot of the pain, as well as really working on giving myself grace and recognizing and celebrating where in the past I would have had the fear of missing out because, oh my God, I wasn't doing lives. Oh my God, I wasn't on social media. Oh my God, I wasn't even in my fucking stories. So what? So what? Do you see where I'm at now? And that is fun. And that is fun. Okay, so if you want to roll with me next month with next month's workouts, let me know. DM me. I don't always advertise for them because it's more about the HIIT sweat sesh strategy, the concept behind it, not necessarily the workouts themselves, but the workouts themselves are the vehicle to create the alchemization on this physical plane that it takes when you are doing DNA work. Okay, so we have to look at all levels. And so next month is really about stepping into the divine conscious, the divine masculine, the power of behavior, the power of like almost militant, okay? And in order to get there, in order to allow that masculine to be in the highest frequency, because also the ego in low frequency can be a fear driven. Now we worked through that fear. I worked through that fear in February. Now I get to energetically be in my masculine, and I love masculine, and that is sexy. You would think feminine is sexy. Feminine is sensual and flowy, but sexy, owning all of it, sacral work, that is about knowing and loving and utilizing the power of the divine masculine. I love it. I love my masculine side of me. It's what makes me me. I loved the ego side of me when it was really masculine driven. I mean, oh my God. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for that powerful masculine energy within me. As well as you would be like, oh my God, I thought you seemed pretty feminine. Well, maybe visually, but behavior-wise, my masculine and feminine, I had to work diligently on getting them to work together. And now they work, now they're one. Now they're one. And that's the arrival. Now I get to live in it. That's the heaven on earth. And now I get to live on it. And now I get to spread that through my DNA, through my sexuality, through oneness. And it might be hard to understand because it's not something you understand. It's something you feel. Okay? So, my workouts. It's more of a mental rehearsal. It's more showing up, watching me go through the motions, grow through this, comprehending, okay, I can do it too. Wow. That lady, she's a mess. Holy shit, what's the matter with her? That's when you know you are on the right track. But you gotta stop asking yourself, what is the matter with me? And that takes creating that divine oneness of all of it, okay? So, great change. Free Facebook page. You get it all of this on a completely different level. I also have a Facebook group. My free 5-day Sexy and Alive challenge. The biggest one is please, 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 please. Even if you gotta listen to me on ×2, that's the trick that I use. I always listen to things on ×2. If I have 3, I can listen to it on 3.3. Watch my F Perfectionism and Conquer Your Inner Critic training, especially when it comes to all of this, because when you start to work on yourself, you will be fear driven and it will be in disguise. And through that, you will learn about my deep dive sessions, okay? Deep dive sessions can heal, according to testimonials, 10 years of baggage in one session. Holy shit. I know, it's beautiful. All right, bye.